Welcome back everybody to another GB Studio video. My name is Robert, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a game I've been working on for the last few weeks, and I want to show you why I think this game is special. So before we begin, I want to show you this t-shirt that I designed. It's available on GB Studio Central. For every sale that it gets, I believe I get $10, which is fantastic support for me if you want to support me. But let's take a look at this game here. Obviously I've called it the Rosebed and the Bicycle. That's just a provisionary name for now. I might call it something to do with roses and bikes. But the idea is you're a student attending a university, and it's in between semesters, so you're not going home. So instead you spend your time talking to townsfolk, and there's stuff to do in the town. So I've got this bike lane connecting everything. I've made the colors very simple. I'm using a tile set that I purchased from Graphics Kid. I'm also using my own tile sets from games I've made in the past in order to make it more of my own and, you know, fill the gaps where his tile set didn't have. So if we have a look here, I've been working on the dialogue, or yesterday I was working on the dialogue. So obviously isn't fully finalized, and there will be mistakes, and as you see here there's some graphical errors. But this is the basic font right now. And obviously, because it's GB Studio, it will be on a Game Boy, so I will be making sure that it's completely readable and playable on a Game Boy, alongside Game Boy Color. As you can see, it's all in color, but I will make it playable on the normal Game Boy. So if you talk to these guys, this guy is the headmaster, and he is suggesting things for you to do, kind of like inspiring the idea of exploring. And I'll have way more characters and stuff filling these areas that will point you to directions that obviously that I want you to take. But as you can see, I've tried to make it as cute as I can, and if we go in here, we can see the rose garden. Got a little statue of some kind of queen or princess. And if you notice, you can get off your bike and then you can leave the scene and come back. And if you know anything about GB Studio, this isn't built in. You have to obviously make it to do this. And I'm pretty proud of myself for being able to do it, and I would love to make a tutorial in the future about it, if you guys are interested. But the game itself is basically just a game where everybody wants something and everybody has something to give. And there's a chain of wants and gives that will lead to the final outcome of the game. So if I take you back to the arcade where I started outside of, we can have a look at the beginning of the chain. The chain leads, or this current chain leads and starts at this arcade where there's this fish tank. So if we talk to this guy, he tells us that if we play this game and we beat his high score, then we'll win this fish tank. And I don't want to give too much away, obviously, because I want you guys to play it. But I won't be uploading the full game yet. I want there to be music. I want it to be a good representation of what the final game might be. And obviously, I've given myself space to expand and to cut back if necessary. Obviously, I've learned a lot from all my previous games of what goes into a successful project, like being able to finish and also know when to rein it back and when to try harder, you know. I want to get feedback like I was on Take It Racing 2 from people and hear opinions about what could make it better in order to make this game as good as I can. But also, I don't want to spend too long on it. If you remember with Take It Racing 2, I kind of kept expanding it until I was unable to complete it in a reasonable time frame. But with this one, I want to be able to have it done maybe by Christmas. That would be quite nice if I was able to do that. And then I can, you know, develop some expansions for it or something. But yeah, keeping it simple is probably the best idea when using GB Studio. And if you have a look at this penguin game here, as you can see, I'm just diving under the water and I'm catching these little green fishies, and I'm bringing them back to these barrels. And if you've ever played Club Penguin, this is a very similar game in that. Obviously, I think that closed down, unfortunately. So this is my little homage to it. So I beat that guy's high score. I didn't tell you, but I think it might have showed on the screen there was 17 or something. I can't remember what I put it as. But if we beat it, and we did, then it says you got the high score. Then he should come over to us and give us a fish tank, but accidentally pressed play again rather than go back. So actually I'll give this time to just talk about what my intentions for the game actually is. And obviously the game itself may sound very simple, but I want there to be a feeling when you're playing the game. I want the music to you know, invoke an emotion in you, and you feel like you're in a warm environment, you know, that's cozy, not specifically temperature warm, but cozy, you know. So yeah, I want the characters to be friendly. I want it to, you know, how games like Stardew Valley, they encourage exploration, but they also encourage friendship building. This won't have very much friendship building, but it should have people to talk to and things to do to help the townsfolk, which I think is obviously a very cliche game idea, but also it's good for a reason, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna back out, and then well done, you've won the fish tank. So now I have the fish tank, and I will be making an inventory system so that if we press select or something, we'll be able to see it. That isn't obviously implemented yet, but that is in the back of my mind. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that penguin game. I made that yesterday as well. It started as something a bit different, and it kind of evolved into that quite quickly. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this first look at this game called The Rose Bed and the Bicycle right now. It might change the name, like I said, and the artwork will definitely change. The interiors I'm gonna, you know, make less modern and more interesting, more character focused. Obviously, you may know that I'm not a great writer, but I've tried to put a lot of effort into the writing, and I hope in the end that I will show. But obviously, if my plan is to get it done by Christmas, then there's a lot of way to go, and obviously we'll want your guys' feedback once I make this playable. You may see a lot of inspiration from The Clockmaker's Tale, the last story game I made, both artistically and like dialogue-wise, I guess. And that's because that game was quite well received, and also I enjoyed making it. When I said if I was to do it again, I would do X, Y, and Z, I've taken that into account with this game, and I'm quite excited to see where it goes. Like I said, I have plans to expand it, but I'm trying to keep it small to start, as you should. And I would love to get a playable version up on itch.io maybe next week, at the end of next week. That would be fantastic. Yeah, so I'll put my patrons up on screen right now, and thank you so much to you guys. You guys are the best. I'm thinking of making more videos like this where it's talking about my process again. I used to do this when I started making videos, but I kind of started to focus more and more on tutorials, and I would like to go back to, you know, this kind of videos, but obviously I would like to sprinkle in some tutorials when I find something that is worth making a tutorial about. So remember to like the video if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you thought of this video and what you want to see in the future, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.